Hello, good evening to you. Welcome to Ghana Tonight. We're live morning news up here at Adesawe Kanda. We're also live on 23 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okanse. Coming up on Ghana Tonight. And a developing story just following closely. 3 students sustained injuries following violent clashes between students of Katanga and university halls at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST in Kumasi. Those are the videos you see right there. It started around 3 p.m. earlier today, and it continued into the early hours of the evening. And we understand there's heavy police presence on the university campus. Vehicles have been destroyed, and this comes on the heels of what happened at the University of Ghana, Legon, between students of the Commonwealth Hall and also Mensa Saba Hall. So that's what you see there. These are the evening videos. In fact, just a few minutes ago, we got these videos and the pictures. You're seeing the vehicles that have been destroyed as a result of this latest clash involving students of Katanga, and also we have the Unity Hall, that's the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Stay with us. We're getting into this on Ghana Tonight. Also, this evening, has the fight against illegal mining lost its shine? We interrogate why discovery of over 830 mining equipments, called them chamfan, used by illegal miners on River Onofing should be a source of worry and concern to all of us. Also, can the new patriotic party governing NPP break the 8 in the face of its internal political battles and economic crisis they're faced with as a people? A founding member of the NPP, Dr. Charles Wekurobe, speaks to us this evening. Also, how is the lack of access to electricity impacting lives and livelihood in Yilo Krobo? Stay glued. We're there tonight on Ghana Tonight. Stay with us. This is Ghana Tonight. Stay with me. I'm going to be getting into all these issues and a developing story. We're following closely of what's happening at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST. There's a statement from the Ashanti Regional Minister. I'm going to read that to you shortly, but let's settle for Ghana Briefs. President Kufuor says government is committed to finding a lasting solution to the depreciation of the city and high cost of food. Former President John Mahama insists a review of the free senior high school policy is essential to safeguarding quality and access to education at the secondary level. Founding member of the governing New Patriotic Party, Dr. Charles Wekurobe, says addressing the current economic crisis is the only pathway that can enable the NPP break the 8. Beneficiaries of the Nation Builders Call cast doubts over government's ability to roll them onto the U-Start program. Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, Dr. John Kwachi, says the upward review of the policy rate to 22% from 19% will help stifle rising inflation and bring some stability to the cedi depreciation. Oh, this is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 23 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Stay with me. Also, we can connect with you on 3News GH. Lots of you connecting with us already about a question that we put there about the fight against illegal mining. But the story we're following closely is developing as we speak, and clashes between Katanga and the Unity Hall's students, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST. have led to the destruction of property. Students of Katanga and Unity Halls reportedly pelted each other following a procession by Katanga Hall students as residents, which is a celebration of their whole week. Now, it's a very familiar script, isn't it? And especially what's happened in the University of Ghana 2 weeks ago. Now, security has been beefed up, and the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council has directed students to halt any demonstration. 3 students have sustained injuries, and what you're seeing on the screen now are there's pictures we got just about some 15 minutes ago. Now we're getting to know the extent of damage as a result of the clashes between the Katanga and Unity Hall students. Vehicles have been destroyed, a number of vehicles destroyed that you see there, their windscreens as well. And then also some school property have been destroyed. And this comes on the heels of what we saw at the University of Ghana, Legon, that's some 3 weeks ago, involving students of that's Komo Hall and Mensa Saba Hall. And William Evansinkum is our Northern Bureau Chief, Ashanti Regional Correspondent. He joins me on the telephone. William, good evening to you. You've been to the campus this evening. Tell me what's happening there as we speak.
Well, so good evening to you, Alfred. There's heavy security and military presence currently at the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Mind you, this is the second chaotic brawl between the 2 halls, which have a long-standing rivalry. Last year, around July, similar incident happened where scores of students sustained various degrees of injuries when they were actually having a vetting for SRC executives at the Great Hall. I mean, number of properties were also destroyed. This time around, it was a Zulu procession, something that they do every 4 years. But prior to this particular procession, the 2 halls have actually reached an agreement that none of the halls in the course of this kind of event should cross a certain boundary, a boundary that they call the Peace Junction. But this time around, according to eyewitnesses, Katanga Hall, that is the University Hall, students who were having the Zulu procession crossed the red line. That demarcated boundary, and that resulted in a pelting of stones because they ended up at the frontage of the Unity Hall. I mean, they are arch rivals, and that resulted in that clash. About 5 cars have had their windscreens smashed. 3 students, as you earlier said, are also receiving treatment at the University Hospital after sustaining some serious injuries.
I see. Right, but and I also see that there was a police vehicle that was seen in the video that you made available to us, which our viewers are watching now, and the students were pelting stones at the police vehicle. What exactly happened after that incident with that moving police vehicle we saw?
Well, so that was the initial stages of the clashes, but when the police realized that they were overwhelmed by the situation, they needed to call for reinforcement. I must say that, they were able to escape unhurt, talking about the place, even though stones or missiles were flying all over the place, but they were able to escape unhurt. But when they realized that, as I said, they were overwhelmed by the situation and they wanted to call for reinforcement, that was when, the rampaging students went further, crossing that red line to the precincts of the Unity Hall, which actually saw the whole situation escalated.
I see, but I understand this situation started at around 3 p.m., correct?
Absolutely. And around 6 p.m., situation has still not been able to calm. That was when the Regional Security Coordinating Council realized that they really have a situation on their hand because things were escalating. So they needed to bring in the military to restore order.
I see. William, thank you. Thank you so much for this and appreciate it. That's William Evansinkum, is Ashanti Regional Correspondent, and he's been to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology campus, where we understand that students of Unity Hall, Katanga, and that's the University Hall and Unity Hall students involved in the clash that we are seeing now on the screen. And this started around 3 p.m. earlier today and continued into the early hours of the evening. In fact, we have some police personnel that were called in fact, at the university campus. There's a police post close to the university, but the students attacked the police. That's what you see there in the video, and the police had to leave the place and calls for reinforcement. A number of vehicles have been destroyed as well. I have a statement from the Ashanti Regional Security Council I'll get into shortly, but Dr. Daniel Norris Bekoin is the University Relations Officer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He joins me on the telephone. Dr. Daniel Norris Bekoin, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on Ghana Tonight. We're seeing these very worrying videos of the students in this clash and property destroyed. What's happening now on campus?
I would say good evening to your viewers and all listeners. There's calm on campus as of now. The police have deployed at the two main halls, including other vantage points. And so I want to assure all parents and other stakeholders that there is calm on campus. At around 6:18, thereabout, the fellows of Katanga Hall, including their colleagues who are in UCC, Catholic Hayford Hall, to be precise, and then some alumni of the Katanga Hall were protesting as part of their Hall Week celebration. And then in the process, they launched unprovoked attack on the fellows of Unity Hall. The students at the Unity Hall decided to run back into the hall, and then they decided to destroy vehicles which were parked in front of the Unity Hall. Fortunately, nobody has died out of this. There were a few students who sustained injury and have been moved to the KNUST hospital for attention.
I see. Now, so what exactly led to this clash? What was the causal effect of this particular situation? Because you just narrated to me there's a whole week celebration. You have students from Cape Coast University coming in there. But what exactly caused these clashes?
What exactly caused the clash is what we are unable to tell right now. The police are investigating it. Fortunately, we have CCTV footages of the clash or the attack, and the police will review it. We are also reviewing it. But in the meantime, there is heavy police presence on campus, and I can say that the situation is calm as of now.
See, we'll wait for the investigation by the police. Thank you so much. Dr. Daniel Norris Bekoin is the Director of University Relations at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We're following this story keenly and closely. We'll be updating you as it unfolds, but this is developing on the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, involving students of the University Hall, that's Katanga, and the Unity Hall. On the University of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology campus, we understand 3 students have sustained various degrees of injury. A number of vehicles have been destroyed as a result, and the university property as well, some have been vandalized. This is what's happening. The cause of this clash is yet to be known. Police have taken over. We're keeping a close eye on this one. This is Ghana Tonight. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. We'll get into another equally worrying development with illegal mining. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Look, at a point some 2 or 3 years ago, we were told that we had achieved 85% success with the fight against illegal mining. That's Galamsey in this country. Look, the president came to power. He declared that he's putting his presidency on the line to fight illegal mining in this country. a 2-year ban was imposed. Afterwards, I mean, during that 2-year period, we saw some success with some of the water getting rather cleaner and the forest cover preserved. But afterwards, what have we seen? And I just want to show you this and do a clear sequence of how far we've come with this particular situation and the fact that now, just 2 days ago, we're getting to know that some 838 chamfans, that's, you have these machines that are used by illegal miners, have been destroyed. But after that declaration by the president, an interministerial committee was established, as a matter of fact, to lead this fight against illegal mining. That's what you see there. The police, the military personnel set up to enable the achievement of the president's goal. Then this was followed by that particular decision to have the various agencies leading that particular fight also getting into the areas. Now, the Operation Vanguard was established, led by both the military and police joint task force set up by as another layer of the fight against illegal mining. You had them arresting a number of people, but then questions were raised about their modus operandi. We've gone beyond it as to whether the decision to burn excavators was the right thing or not. You recall this undercover journalist, and now caught several officials of the Interministerial Committee on video taking bribes to compromise their duties in that regard. There was a committee that was set up. In fact, the Criminal Investigations Department of Ghana Police Service was charged to look into this, which led to Charles Bisiu, who was then heading this particular committee, tendering him his resignation, claiming innocence in the matter. Eventually, the CID cleared him after they said they had gone through all the investigations and he was not to blame personally for this. In September 2019, this was what the then Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asumachemi, said, that we had achieved 85% success rate in the fight against illegal mining. Today, a total of 838 chamfan machines and other mining equipments being used by illegal miners on the Ofen River in the Western region have been destroyed by the Operation Halt 2 team. This happened just 2 days ago. Now, it confirms a number of things that have been reported over the period. In fact, before this destruction of the 838 chamfans, and I'm going to show you the chamfan, it's not a small machine. If you have 838 of them on the Ofen River, any responsible, committed leader to fight illegal mining will not miss this, especially the DCs and local authorities. But take a look at this viral video. This video was released sometime last week before this destruction of some 838 chamfans. Take a look. This is the viral video that went out on the Ofen River, and when some illegal miners actually recorded themselves. And you'll see the chamfan in there. If you see 838 of them on that river, why anybody will claim ignorance of it? Take a look.
This is the chamfan, which
over 2,000. What you are there? Aha, can you pay your Jumano? And yeah, and the Johanna Mapaha. I DC Waho. President Timosi and Yai is Yoshua Jumano. What did you go for to Hanum? And then they get free from August 2022. If I come to revolving, I'm going to make you a moving over. I'm going to someone who said, a idea a beboa or minor, and also a boa or minor. And you may be a year, I come up from one distance. People so I will pay and then structure on. And then ensure what say is you will do one amount.
That's the Ofen River. You saw the polluted with the chamfans. You saw those things you saw on the water body is the chamfans, huge ones. And imagine 838 of those on the river Ofen alone. Should the DC be answering questions by now? Should he be at post? Beyond destroying these chamfans, what has been done? This is the Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mines, George Mekuduka, talking, and I'll be joined by Alhaji Hussaini, who is a former Minister of Lands and Natural Resources as well on this matter. But take a listen to George Mekuduka.
It's very unfortunate that out of greed, people are destroying the heritage and future of this country. Very, very unfortunate, irrespective of the effort that government has unleashed on these people. I'm so saddened to see people just mining in a river body without any shred of responsibility of being a Ghanaian. Very sad situation. The government alone cannot fight this battle. We need all hands on deck to fight this battle, especially our chiefs, our opinion leaders, stakeholders, politicians.
Welcome back to You So Live here on Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. We are at a critical time when Galamsey is back and it's happening in the full glare of the public. No more undercover. Our water bodies are being destroyed, and the treatment plants of the Ghana Water Company Limited is breaking down as a result of Galamsey activities. Look, they are asking for an increase in tariffs, water tariffs for you and I to pay, which has been approved. One of the reasons being the destruction of their treatment plants by Galamsey operators because of the high volumes of pollution. Now, so how do we deal with this? Okay. We are all affected. Alhaji Hussaini is a former Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in this country. He joins me in the studio. Alhaji, thank you for joining us on Ghana Tonight.
Thank you so very much.
So, when the president made this bold statement of putting his presidency on the line with regards to this fight against illegal mining, was followed by a 2-year ban. I mean, we saw some progress, didn't we, with the improvement in the level of purity of our water bodies and then the preservation of our forests.
Well, so first of all, let's understand certain things. The president's statement to the effect that he was ready to put his presidency on the line was grandstanding. Galamsey has really never gone away. Galamsey has always been with us. In periods during my time, after my time, when they came in, there was some mitigation, there was some reduction in activities, but really never gone away. 3, what the president said and the policy that was being implemented to stem the tide of Galamsey was a mismatch.
As in putting his presidency on the line, and then the 2-year ban, and now we had the Operation Hawk 1 and 2, and then we also had the Operation Vanguard. In fact, the Operation Vanguard was the first.
Yes.
What was the mismatch in the policy?
Was, first of all, when a president says he's putting his presidency on the line, it means he's prepared to take any action, drastic or otherwise, to deal with the situation. It means if his officers are complicit, he will deal with them. It means he's going to charge officers of his administration, the chief executives, the police, the security services, everybody concerned with the security of this country to be interested and involved in the fight. Did you see that?
Well, we saw some...
No. You didn't... There was nothing like that. So when the president...
There was a committee that was established.
Good.
That was leading this the operations, the Vanguard and the Hawk. The ministry that you headed as Minister of Lands and Natural Resources was charged with that responsibility.
So when
DCs, MCs were called upon
to do what?
But as to whether they did their job of ensuring that within their areas they were able to also ensure the fight against Galamsey was being won, it's another matter altogether. Yes.
I can't say. You see, when political leaders talk, we have a duty to unpack their speech and start marking them. It will be foolish of us as a people to take what our leaders say hook, line, and sinker. Galamsey is a local activity. So you need a champion. Your district chief executives must be tasked with the responsibility of stopping it. It must be a key performance indicator. Ashanti Hini said recently that government knows the people behind Galamsey.
Yes, he said it. I mean, this was at a Galamsey conference. That the people gathered there. And I'm going to play that video.
So it's common knowledge. In fact, recent events convinces me beyond doubt that there's official complicity in the fight against Galamsey.
What are these recent events you're referring to?
Well, we just read 2 days ago that a deputy minister of Lands and Natural Resources has gone on to the River Ofin and has destroyed 838 Shamfan machines. 838. You know the Ofin River? Around Dimfa on Ofin.
Yes.
Flows to Chechewure. 838. The question to ask is, you mean the district chief executive had no idea, had no knowledge, had no information that Shamfan machines were on the Ofin?
Considering the numbers, that's 838 Shamfans on the Ofin River. Your point is that if there was that number of Shamfans, that's illegal miners doing business, there's no way the DC or the MC in the area, if he was serious about fighting corruption, BNI,
the mines inspector in the
illegal
area,
mining.
Because it's an illegal activity. I mean, you can't put any device, any contraction on the water body without permission from the EPA and the water, we call it the Water Resources Council or something like that. You can't put anything on that water body. In fact, it's illegal to mine on the water body. It's even illegal to mine 100 meters to a water body. And for a water body to contain as many as 838, and you say that there's no official complicity? In fact, during my time when we did the operation clean small-scale sites of illegalities, 5 Shamfan machines were found on the River Ofin when I visited.
This same Ofin River?
5.
Which 838?
5 were found on the Ofin River.
Your time, 5 were found?
I visited Chechewure and we went to the Ofin River. I saw 5. Alfred, that cost the district chief executive his office.
So during your tenure, the DC in that area was sacked because 5 Shamfans were found on the Ofin River.
Because you couldn't miss. You couldn't miss it. I mean, as a DC, you ought to know that 1, the president and government was against illegal activity. 2, that you can mine on a water body, you ought to know that. 3, the Shamfans were there, you could see them, and as a DC, you ought to have been visiting the water bodies and ensuring or partnering government in the fight against illegal mining.
So you make the point that you want the local authorities to be answering questions. Is that the DC or the MC? They should have been sacked by now.
By now. They should have been gone by now. They should have been gone by now if the president were committed. The land minister should be answering questions because we've wasted a lot of resources. We brought in speedboats. We said we were cleaning the water bodies. Often is a water body. How come that the speedboats were not there? When did they realize that the Ofin River was populated with Shamfans? How did it come to his attention? They should be answering questions. The minister himself should be answering questions. It's just not enough to go and destroy Shamfan machines. It's not enough. You see, people don't understand. The fight against illegal small-scale mining must be said that you put people in positions with the clear understanding that this act cannot be tolerated. Because it compromises the future of the country.
Tell me, how do these Shamfan machines get into the country? Because as far as I know, I interacted with a Galamsey operator in the Etiwa forest. And most of these Shamfan machines come from China, right?
Initially, they came from China. But now they are being manufactured even locally here.
The Shamfans are being manufactured
locally here. Initially, they came from China. The Chinese brought them. But now they no longer bring in Shamfan machines. They just take drums and others and vacuums in the drums so that it can float and all. They manufacture them here.
What did we miss in all this fight against Galamsey? Because, look, we are all affected. Because if you're looking at how it's impacting on the water bodies, and Ghana Water is saying they have to now spend more money to treat the water that we drink or have in our taps. And then also in some areas, in the central region, for instance, Ghana Water said they have to add more chemicals to be able to purify the water because of the level of pollution as a result of Galamsey.
Tepidity. The water is so muddy now because they're washing the sand back into the water. And so the water is very unclear. People have just put their personal interests above the interests of the state. And leaders that we have elected just sit unconcerned.
What can be done? Because you've been there. I recall during your tenure, you had thousands of Chinese nationals repatriated for their involvement in this illegal mining, Galamsey.
So, first of all, during my time, I was very clear in my mind that the first option open to me as minister and head of the task force was to implement the law, to enforce the law. And the law prevents, forbids, prohibits foreigners from engaging in in small-scale mining. So first matters were to get all foreigners out of the mining sites.
So finally, what role does the government, the chiefs, the DCs, as the local authorities have to play in all of this? I just want us to trace the chain of responsibility because, look, it's not looking good.
Let me give you the Etiwa forest as an example. Why local communities should be involved in this matter. You know, Etiwa, the number of people that depend on Etiwa for their sustenance and livelihood is huge. Yes. People have been educated just by harvesting wild snails from Etiwa.
It actually serves about 5 million Ghanaians, the sources of water, the Etiwa forest.
Good.
So
Etiwa is a forest that has been declared a globally significant area. Meanwhile, there's illegal logging and there is illegal mining going on. Don't you see official complicity? Because if you cut a tree, you can't just move the tree anyhow out of the forest. It has to follow a road. So maybe people don't see vehicles leaving the forest with locks.
They do.
They do. So why are they not able to do anything? Why have they been paralyzed? It's because big people, the chiefs.
Alhaji Yusuf Hussaini, thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
On Ghana Tonight. Alhaji Yusuf Hussaini is a former Minister of Lands and Natural Resources and also former Member of Parliament for Tamale Central. sharing with us his experience in that Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, what can be done to improve on the fight against illegal mining, which we are all affected. Look, and this is why we should all be concerned, how this is impacting on us, how it's impacting on the water we are drinking, the forest cover which is being destroyed, the water bodies that are being destroyed as well, to the detriment of all of us. Alhaji have seen it referred to the Tiwa forest. I spent 48 hours in the Tiwa forest. I was there for 2 days on doing a story. I want to take a look at the interaction that I had with a Galamsey operator. But this is what he said to me about who owns the chamfans that they use and how they operate. Take a look.
Everybody did chamfan. On the Ubianim, chamfan. Yes, sir.
This is the chamfan, which crushes the stones.
Yamina, they are Baha, they are boom, and Sunday they are Konuha, I got solid so. So what was it? The catcher said, to Swolu, my sense.
We are aware we don't have to pollute the water bodies with our chemicals. In the end, one thing remains clear, that the fight against illegal mining is far from over.
If you take Atiwa, we have about 757 different plants, not plants, but trees, vascular plants.
If you needed any evidence beyond reasonable doubt, that's it. The operators, one of them telling you, they have directors who own the chamfans. They don't own it. So clearly the approach to the fight should be looking at the root cause. That's the financiers of this Galamsey operation. They are walking around. Some of them even sponsor political party activities in this country. We should get serious with the fight against illegal mining, or else we just be kidding ourselves, tickling ourselves and laughing at the same time. But let's go to the Yilo and Lower Manya areas. After almost a month of power outage, the people of Yilo and Lower Manya Krobo are to have power restored after a high-powered stakeholder meeting. It's been happening over the last 3 days. The Ministry of National Security and also the Energy Ministry, they've announced the various stakeholders have agreed on 5 action points that could include seeing the return of military personnel, helping ECG technicians to fix prepared meters upon the return of power. Let's go there live now. And my colleague Roland Walker is there. It's been there for the past 6 hours and crisscrossing the area to bring us some information on what's happening on the ground. Roland, thank you for joining us on Ghana Tonight. I know you're in darkness, but we'll try and get some light around you. What's happening this evening and how the people living there coping?
Well, I have to say, Alfred, it's not been a very amusing experience so far. We're just at one of the areas that you usually will see a lot of bustle of activities when it comes to reveling or people having a chill time in our local parlance. And we're talking about the G Unit Plus enclave of hotels. And from Somanya, you get to the various areas in Odumase, and then you get to Pong. You also get an inclination. According to the Electricity Company of Ghana, they've been able to go to the many areas where they have transformers, and these transformers apparently have had some level of tampering. And so we have an incident report where some transformers have had cables cut. Some of the people, because of the desperation of not having lights, have also tried to either connect illegally, and that have affected the way that transmission will be on the grid. So the electricity currently is doing an auditing of the real transformers they have, and then they'll have a complete overview of how well these transformers are working, how well they're connected to the grid, and if they switch the lights on, there will not be any anomaly by way of electrocutions or power stripping.
But we're seeing how nightlife looks like at the moment, and that's Yilo and Lower Manya where you are now. And what have the residents been telling you? And this has been their everyday experience, over the last 1 month? right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to tell you that because of some internet disruption, we've been able not to bring you some of those close-knit interactions with the residents. But all that they've been saying in summary is that they feel that there's this whole conspiracy against them because the government of the day doesn't seem to be getting votes from the area. And so there's some level of neglect, if not a lack of commitment towards their plight. At least I know that for Somanya, if not the rest of the Krobo land, they are very much receptive of getting these what they call the automated meters. And these new meters, which would ensure that the billing is very much fast, it's virtual, but also very much automated, would ensure that people are billed in real time. They pay for the credits that they consume by way of power, electricity. And they claim that a larger percentage of the residents within Somanya and many of the enclaves already do have these meters. It's apparently a small community of people who seem to think that, well, the transition that was done was not done with the buy-in of the people. The Electricity Company of Ghana, however, says that, well, they felt that this is the way they had to go to make sure that they redeem the revenue that they needed to get from their customers or the people all around. I did speak to the Electricity Company of Ghana early on, and Christopher Appel is the acting managing director or the manager for the district of the area or the Kroboland area. And he did say that we have over 20,000 customers or households or metered households. It would also mean that they need to pay realistic charges. So the Electricity Company of Ghana needs to recover its costs. At the same time, the residents also seem to be thinking that they need to have power at a lower cost. So there needs to be some middle ground. And so far, they are doing the auditing of the transformers. When they are done, they'll have some conclusion as to the exact date when they'll have the powers on.
I see. And you earlier visited some health facilities in the area, and we understand that some of the people, in fact, the maternity ward in the area that's in the hospitals are without light, and people are having to deliver with torchlight. That's what's happening there now.
It's a very pathetic situation. I did visit the Somanya Polyclinic. You get to find that at the maternity hall or the maternity ward, the nurses or the midwives would have to do deliveries just having torchlights inside. The torchlight either from rechargeable lamps, if the lamps have not been recharged because the generators have not been working within the day, then they'll have to use torchlight from their phones. It's been a very uneventful side because you find that nursing mothers and then subsequently those who may have been in labor would need as much care and help as they would need. Because alongside the value chain of providing health facilities is also the fact that the medicine that they will use would have to be stored in a certain temperature. And the cold rooms haven't been available. It is also because electricity is not available. And that has been a big problem for the managers for the Somanya Polyclinic, but also the other facilities. Indeed, during my interactions, I did get the inclination that a lot of the health facilities and then the mortuaries in the area still have bodies or corpses that seem to be in a very unwholesome state or not being kept well. And we'll visit many of them subsequently. The Electricity Company of Ghana promises to take us around some of these audited transform areas, and then we'll get to see what really the transformers are by way of their state, how well they are performing and how well they are not performing, and how many days really is going to take for the ECG to get power back to the people of Kroboland.
I see. And is there any clear indication of exactly how long these repair works will take so that the people in the Kroboland will have power back?
I have to say that the Electricity Company of Ghana, based on the interactions I've had with Christopher Appel, who is the acting manager for the Krobo district, seem to have that commitment towards making sure they restore electricity to Kroboland. However, they need to make sure that they do a proper auditing or assessment of the various lines or transformers that connect to the national grid. by way that or so doing, they will be in a position to be able to assess which areas are well interconnected, and then they can do that seamlessly. They seem to have the commitment to say that when all these are done, then the announcement will be made for power to be restored. And so that commitment from the ECG is there. However, I have to indicate that based on my interactions with many of the residents I've had over the last couple of hours, there seems to be some level of distrust between the ECG as the power distributor on one hand, and then also the traditional authorities and the people on the other hand. So we're hoping that some level of dialogue would need to be undertaken so that there is some level of buy-in all in total, so that, well, at least because there's been an outage, all of them will be able to get their lights on subsequently.
Great job. Roland, I thank you. Thank you so much for this update. And that's a live update from the Lower Manya and the Yilo Krobo areas. My colleague Roland Walker is there for us, is going to be there for the next couple of days to monitor the situation as it unfolds, especially because of the news of some high-level meetings about this and the decision to resolve the impasse, which has resulted in these areas being in darkness for almost a month. What we showed you are the live videos of what their nightlife has been like over the last 1 month. But a number of you have been commenting on this as well, and then the issues with illegal mining that we've had to battle with in this country, raising issues of commitment. This one here says, how can one be selfless and fight against his or her own interests unless he has high virtues and principles of collective good for all and not a few? It is a lost battle, you say, and you're talking about the illegal mining. That's a fight against Galamsey. Now, hold local leaders responsible, the chiefs and DCEs. These individuals know almost every Galamsey site in their locality. You're agreeing with what Alhaji Yunus Hussaini said as well, and raising questions about, for instance, why some of these DCs are still at post after these 838 farms were destroyed. This one also here is tweeting at us, says, stop government kingmakers from illegally mining themselves. That was a challenge from day one. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that you talk about the politicians themselves who are involved in it. Okay, now the government appointees are the owners of the land, so there's nothing we can do. I live at Enchi in the Western North region, and you have a number of, you mentioned names in there. It says as a Galamsey site here. Funny thing is the police always, that's what you've tweeted at us. And the arms of government should work as a team towards fighting Galamsey. This can be achieved by enforcing the laws prohibiting Galamsey this way. Water bodies will not be in the bad state they are in now, and Ghanaians can get good drinking water. There's Mary Owusu also commenting on this on social media. They are the root of Galamsey. Who are they fighting with the bad leadership, you say? And in fact, this one here says create jobs in those areas. And that's what the focus of government was when they sought to now issue small-scale licenses to some of these persons who want to engage in illegal mining. That's I beg your pardon, that's small-scale mining. That has also had its own challenges. And that's something that we're going to be uncovered in the coming days as well. This one here from Kweku Derek says, unless Ghana stops jailing those corrupted and useless, you say, big men that are wicking and milking the country's money without them being jailed. It goes on and on. In fact, loads of you are sending us this, and we want to be as interactive as possible, getting some of your comments. Unfortunately, those who are to fight the menace are the ones leading it. There's no way you can fight such an organized crime unless you vote them out, you say. And that's everything rises and falls on leadership. For as long as people and politicians come out to declare openly that they are into it, and they have financing political party activities, you say it must start from them, those who are financing this illegal activity. But we'll keep an eye on this in the coming days. But a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, has advised the NPP-led government to forget about breaking the eight and focus on finding solutions to the country's mounting economic challenges. The NPP stalwart urged the party to adopt measures that would help alleviate the hardships in the country before thinking of retaining power in 2025. Sani Abdul, my colleague, sat with him.
My only comment about it is that if you are given a chance to govern and you fail, don't expect to continue to govern. And that's not just for the New Patriotic Party, it's for every political party. We don't, democracy is not just about elections. You elect so that people can govern, so that they can improve the people's welfare. But if you've been an abject failure, where we have a situation where, quote unquote, the fundamentals have all gone wrong, why would you actually be wasting so much time talking about beyond or breaking the age? You have not achieved your task, and the failure to achieve your task is enough to jettison you from office.
You think the finance minister should?
Well, no. I am not getting into all those things, but it is failing, and you people should be asking them why they are failing. And people are starting to get into elections of presidential candidates. Anybody who wants to be president of Ghana and has been a part of the failure doesn't deserve to be president of Ghana.
He also shared his view about who has to leave the party that he is a founder of, that's the NPP, and why he thinks that those who are part of the failures should not put themselves up for leadership. Take a look.
I made a statement. They are all part of the failure. And please focus on people's needs now. It is your responsibility as a media to hold power to account, not to get into the useless, trivial things of who becomes candidate. It's not all about electing candidates. It's about holding power to account. Akufo-Addo has not held a single press conference in the second term of his presidency. And I don't hear any of you complaining about it. Meanwhile, the whole country is going haywire. And people want to talk about presidential elections? No.
Well, that's Dr. Charles Rekobrobey. Now, before we round up quickly, there's a statement from the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council about the story we brought you earlier, where we started the conversation with today, the happenings at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, between the University Hall students and Unity Hall on campus. We're going to show you some of the videos, but this is the Ashanti Regional Security Council. They say that they've received intelligence on intended demonstration by some students of KNUST with the intention of disturbing the peace of the university. The RECSEC is informing all students and residents of the university community that all actions intended by any person or group of persons to disturb the current peaceful security in the university will be addressed with the legal instrument of the state. It is grateful and requested that people nursing such intentions desist from that and go by the rules of law, as any breach of the peace in the KNUST and the region at large will be addressed appropriately. Please accept for the necessary action. It's signed by Simon Osei-Mensah, who is the Ashanti Regional Minister. And the videos you see there, some of the pictures, the level of destruction at the KNUST after this clash between the students of University Hall and Unity Hall. And we understand there's reinforced police and military presence on campus. Calm has been restored. Investigations are ongoing to identify the perpetrators of this. Any possible arrest be made. This is what's happening there at the KNUST, and the statement from the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. We'll stay on this in our subsequent bulletins here on TV3 and also on 3FM 92.7 across all media general platforms. Thank you very much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your company. I am Alfred Okansey. Join me and the rest of the team tomorrow on 3FM 92.7 as well. Have a good night.